There is a moment nobody talks about. Not the moment you fail, not the moment you succeed, the moment in between, where you are sitting alone, late at night, and you can see with complete clarity exactly who you are supposed to become. You feel the discipline, you feel the focus, you feel the version of your life where everything you have been delaying has finally, quietly been built. And for a single moment it feels so real that you almost believe something has already changed. This is not inspiration. This is your mind protecting you from the discomfort of action by giving you the feeling of it instead. The human brain is extraordinary at this. It cannot tell the difference between vividly imagining something and actually doing it. The same neural pathways fire, the same chemicals release, the same quiet satisfaction arrives. And so you feel like you moved when you never left the room. That feeling was not progress. That feeling was the trap. And tonight, we are going to dismantle it. There is a Japanese proverb that has survived centuries, not because it is beautiful, but because it is ruthlessly honest. A vision without action is a daydream. Action without vision is a nightmare. Read that again, because one of those two sentences is the shape of your life right now, and you already know which one. The question is whether you are finally ready to do something about it. In the Zen tradition, there is a concept called Makyo. It comes from centuries of silent meditation, from monks who understood something most people never learn, that the mind is not always your ally. Makyo describes a state where the practitioner's inner world becomes so vivid, so convincing, so overwhelmingly real, that he mistakes the vision for the arrival. He sees the path so clearly that he believes he is already walking it. He is not. He is sitting completely still inside the most comfortable trap a human being can create, the feeling of becoming without the cost of it. Psychologists call a version of this mental simulation. Research shows that when people vividly imagine achieving a goal, their motivation to actually pursue it decreases, not increases, decreases, because the mind has already tasted the reward. And so the hunger fades. You have felt this, not in a monastery, but in your bedroom at midnight, in your car, engine off, thinking instead of moving. In that quiet hour when the phone is down and your mind finally gets still enough to show you everything you are not yet doing. And it feels like a turning point. The before and after moment. The night everything changed. But a turning point you only think about is just another thought. The Zen masters did not celebrate Makyo. They warned against it, because the vision of the path is not the path, and the man who lives inside the feeling of becoming never actually becomes anything at all. Here is what Makyo looks like in your real life. You open a new note on your phone. You write the plan, the goals, the structure, the version of yourself that finally has it together. And writing it feels productive. Planning it feels like movement. But the note sits there. A week passes. You open a new note. You are not building. You are rehearsing. And the rehearsal has been running for longer than you want to admit. There is a reason this keeps happening. It is not weakness. It is not laziness. It is something far more human than that. The brain is wired to seek comfort and avoid pain. And starting something real, something that could fail, something that exposes the gap between your vision and your ability, that is painful. Planning is safe. Imagining is safe. The note on your phone asks nothing of you. The blank screen does. And so you return to the note. Again and again. Not because you are broken, because you are human. But being human is not an excuse. It is just an explanation. And explanations do not close the gap. The samurai of feudal Japan were not fearless men. They were not born with discipline. They were ordinary men who built an extraordinary philosophy around one truth. The gap between who you are and who you must become is not closed by thinking. It is closed by moving, repeatedly, quietly, without applause. Yamamoto Tsunetomo wrote in the Hagakure, a private manuscript never meant for outside eyes, that the way of the samurai begins with the acceptance of death before battle, not because death is poetic, but because the warrior who has released his attachment to outcome moves with a freedom the man still protecting himself can never access. He has nothing left to lose in the moment, so he is completely, devastatingly present in it. This is what you are waiting for, not death. The death of the version of yourself still waiting to feel ready, still waiting for the right moment, still standing at the edge of your own life, calling the edge progress. The samurai did not meditate on the sword. He became it, not through inspiration, through repetition so sustained that hesitation had no room left to live. And so must you. Now I want to show you a different person, because the first blindness is easy to recognize. Most people can admit when they are the dreamer, the planner, the person full of vision and empty of motion. But the second blindness is harder, because this person looks like they have it together. They are always moving, always busy. Their effort is real and visible and exhausting, and yet something is deeply wrong, not with their effort, with their direction. Motion is not the same as progress. Busy is not the same as building. Human beings have a powerful psychological need to feel that they are moving forward. So powerful that when real progress feels too uncertain, too slow, too invisible, the mind finds substitutes. Checking emails, reorganizing the desk, opening the app, scrolling for research. Moving, always moving, never arriving. In Japanese philosophy, this restless, purposeless movement lives in the absence of a single word, ikigai. It has no clean English translation, because the English world has never quite understood what it holds. Ikigai means the reason you wake up, the invisible thread running through everything you do that gives it not just purpose, but weight. The sense that what you are building is connected to something deeper than achievement. Without ikigai, action is just movement. A man running through fog, exhausted, busy, arriving nowhere. And here is what that looks like in your life. You fill your days. You stay productive enough to feel okay, but not present enough to feel alive. You go to sleep, tired but unsatisfied. You wake up and do it again. Not because you are lazy, because you are running in a direction you never consciously chose. You are not lost because you stopped. You are lost because you are moving without the thread. The Japanese also speak of muri, overburdening, pushing a system beyond its natural capacity until it breaks from the inside. Modern life is built entirely on muri. Produce without rest, perform without reflection, stay connected to everything while remaining connected to nothing that matters. And psychologists have a name for what this does over time: ego depletion. The gradual erosion of your capacity to make deliberate decisions as your mental resources are consumed by noise, by stimulation, by the relentless demands of a world that profits from your distraction. By the time you sit down to do the thing that actually matters, you have already spent yourself on everything that does not. And the person living inside muri begins to mistake exhaustion for meaning. I am tired, therefore I am working. I am busy, therefore I am building. I am moving, therefore I am arriving. They are not arriving anywhere. They are simply tired. So now, you see both people clearly. The dreamer who never moves, and the mover who never arrives. Different lives, different failures, same proverb. And between them, between the dream and the motion, there is a bridge. The Japanese built it centuries ago. Most people walk past it every day without seeing it. It is called zanshin. Most translate it as awareness, but that loses everything important about it. Zanshin means the mind that remains. In the martial arts, after the sword has fallen, after the decisive moment has passed, the untrained person relaxes, exhales, celebrates, leaves the present. But the practitioner of zanshin remains, fully present, fully connected to what just happened and what must come next. Not celebrating, not collapsing, remaining. Modern psychology speaks of something similar. It is called presence, the capacity to be fully inside your own experience rather than watching it from a distance, narrating it, planning the next version of it before this version has even been lived. Research consistently shows that the human mind spends nearly half its waking hours thinking about something other than what it is currently doing. Nearly half, which means for almost half of your life, you are somewhere else. Planning the future, reviewing the past, imagining the version of yourself that finally has it together, while the actual moment of your life passes through you untouched. Zanshin is the antidote, not a technique you learn once, a choice you make continuously. The dreamer has vision, but no presence. The mover has motion, but no connection. Zanshin is the state in which they become one, and it is available to you in the very next decision you make. Not tomorrow, not after the plan is perfect. Now, there is one final concept you need to carry with you. Kaizen. In the West, this word has been taken apart and rebuilt into a productivity principle, a corporate framework, a business school slide. But its roots are older and quieter than that. Kai means change. Zen means good. Together, they mean something the modern world refuses to accept. The most profound changes in a human being are almost entirely invisible while they are happening. You cannot see Kaizen in motion. You can only see what it leaves behind. And here is the psychology behind why it works when everything else fails. Human beings are terrible at sustaining motivation toward distant goals. The reward is too far away. The brain cannot feel it, cannot taste it, and so it loses interest. But Kaizen bypasses this completely, because Kaizen does not ask you to care about the destination. It only asks you to take one step. One thing done today that was not done yesterday. One moment of discomfort not avoided. One distraction refused. One video made. One step taken on a day when no step felt possible. That is Kaizen. Not the dramatic transformation, not the breakthrough morning. The quiet daily movement that your brain can actually sustain because it never asks for more than today. And what it leaves behind is a life that one day you will stand in front of and barely recognize, because it will look nothing like the struggle that built it. Every spring across Japan, people gather beneath the cherry blossom trees. They sit in silence as the petals fall. They share food. They speak quietly. And what they are really doing, what this ritual called Hanami truly is bearing witness to impermanence. Because the cherry blossom does not stay. It arrives in full bloom, and within days, it is gone. And the Japanese do not mourn this. They call the feeling mono, no aware. The bittersweet ache of things that are beautiful precisely because they do not last. The cherry blossom is not beautiful despite its falling. It is beautiful because of it. Your life is the same. Your window, your real window of becoming, is closing in exactly the same quiet way. Not dramatically, not with warning. One scrolled morning at a time. One evening spent planning instead of building. One week that ended exactly where it began. Psychologists who study regret have found something quietly devastating. When people look back on their lives, the thing they grieve most is not what they did. It is what they did not do. Not the failures, the unlived potential. The version of themselves they could see clearly but never chose to become. The petals are falling, not as a threat, as a truth. And the question is not whether you feel it. The question is what you do while the blossom is still on the tree. So we return to where we began. A vision without action is a daydream. Action without vision is a nightmare. You have sat with both. You know the weight of the dreaming. You know the hollow exhaustion of moving without meaning. And now you have something you did not have before, a language for the war inside you. Makyo, the illusion of progress. Ikigai, the thread that gives motion its meaning. Zanshin, the mind that stays present through all of it. Kaizen, the quiet daily act of becoming. Ma, the sacred space between who you are and who you are still choosing to become. These are not abstract ideas. They are the exact architecture of everything you are trying to build. The samurai would not ask whether your motivation is real. He would not ask whether the plan is ready. He would ask one thing only. Do you have zanshin? Do you have the mind that remains when the feeling is gone, when nothing is working, when the gap between who you are and who you are becoming feels too wide and too dark to cross? Because that gap, that aching, honest, beautiful gap, is not your enemy. It is the only place where real change has ever lived. The space between the person you are today and the person you are choosing to become. It does not close on its own. It closes one deliberate step at a time. One decision, one video, one morning where you chose the work over the distraction. One day where you moved even when you did not feel like moving. The research is clear. Action precedes motivation, not the other way around. You do not wait to feel ready and then move. You move and then feel ready. The path does not appear to those still thinking about walking it. It appears beneath the feet of those already in motion. So close the note, close the plan, close the version of yourself that is still waiting to feel ready. And move, Kodo, move.